Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of vAZo, and today I am going to do the 6th class for hacking. And in this class we're going to be talking about and showing some actual real world examples of how to track someone's IP address down through pretty much anything, through any chats, any government sites, any company sites, any social sites like Facebook, Google Plus and whatnot, and some other things. Now we're going to be showing 3 methods. There's more methods obviously, but we're going to be showing 3 methods, 2 real world examples. So that means I'm actually going to show you what to do, and the last one is going to be a possible PowerPoint base, because I can't really show you that in this, but it is what some pen testers do, and it's a very vulnerable thing that companies go through. And let's go through it. Oh, and before I jump in, I want to mention that, like any other video, this is for educational purposes. So if you do use this information for malicious activities or whatnot, well, that's on your head. This video, like any other hacking video I make, is to make you a better security professional, security consultant, and a better pen tester if that's your thing. So let's jump on in. Now, first things first, I'll be using Windows 8.1. You can pretty much use any version of Windows. You can use other operating systems, but because Windows is most common, I'm just going to use that. Other operating systems, there's similar coding for it, but basically for the code that we're going with today is netstat. For anyone who actually been around the block with this stuff will know what this means. Now, netstat. You don't need to have administrator rights in order for this to work, like some things. Now, as far as things goes, the way this works is you need to do a few things before you really open up this. You need to make sure all your browsers are closed. You need to make sure that you open up one browser. Depending on actually what you're trying to track, I'll take that back. If you're trying to track someone's chat, like say for example Yahoo chat or whatnot, then open up that one thing, talk to that one person, and that's it. Don't talk to anyone else. Don't do anything else. Just go after that one person to target, basically. So if you're doing some company chat or I don't know, Facebook chat or whatnot, make sure that's all you do. Now, if you're doing, I don't know, something like Facebook or Google Plus or whatnot, what you need to do is, and you need to have an actual, back and forth, some type of chat in order for this to work. The second method will be for if you can't get that to work. What you need to do is go to one browser, one tab, don't open up any other tabs. Go to whatever site that's needed. Don't fiddle around, and go directly to whatever you need to do to start a chat with the person. And if you can't give them a reply back, this ain't going to work. So keep that one in mind. If they don't reply back, you're not going to get anything back. Very important. So anyways, how does this work? Basically, what you need to do is, once you get everything up and going, try to go all the way down. Type in the following: NETSTAT space minus sign hyphen whatever AN. Simple as that. Press enter. Did you see the IP? Well, let me show you. In fact, I'll pause it. Now, the IP address, and keep in mind I'm not tracking someone down in this video for obvious reasons. The IP address would be right here. It's very important. And it'll be in a foreign address, and it'll be within the first few. So that's why it's important. Now, if you're still having trouble, what you can do is clear your history and everything else, and then try to do it again, and it should come up. keep in mind, depending on the computer that you're using, is depending on how well this will work. As far as if you have a bunch of things on your computer that's always pinging out to the internet, I don't know, security systems, maybe you got Dropbox always constantly going in the background, or I don't know, whatever it may be, you're going to have a large list filling up pretty quickly. So you want to make sure, where mine, I probably got something always pinging out, maybe every 8 seconds or so. And, well, actually 15 seconds, I take it back, because I actually did make it where it goes out to 15 seconds. And that means that if, you know, I don't see whatever results I want, I try again in a short amount of time, and I should see it within some of the first. Now, keep in mind, if the person's using a proxy or a VPN, then you're not going to find their location. The only way to find their location from a proxy is by hacking into a proxy server, whatever IP address it left you to, and looking at the event logs, then looking at the redirectory. And from the redirectory, you can trace down the proxies to their original location, given that they didn't delete one of the proxy lists. And that's very important to look at the timestamps, because if they're that good, if you're tracking down a actual hacker, then they might delete proxy server's event log, or part of it, or modified it. Keep that in mind. They might have modified it, and you're kind of out of luck. But at the end of the day, doing that, hacking a proxy server, is actually illegal. So I wouldn't advise that unless if it's like a crucial thing, or, you know, it's one of those countries that doesn't care one way or another. So here's the second method, and this is the more common method. Now, as far as this method goes, it's basically making a short link to something, and someone will click on it, and you can get their IP address. Now, if you're trying to get whomever's IP address, he doesn't care, post on Facebook or whatnot and publicly, and have people click on it, and there you go. But here's the thing: if you want to go for a target, a particular target, you need to mail them the link. They click on it, you get their IP address, you get their possible home address, or their VPN address, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, you don't get like a, you know, a whole list of IP addresses, and you don't have to play this guessing game. So that's very, very important. Now with this, basically, and as far as companies and government employees do, it just doesn't really happen too much in, depending on what government you're talking about. This doesn't really happen too much in the government. But as far as employees, like say for some receptionists, some type, say a dental office, or I don't know, hospital, or maybe a credit union, or whatever it may be, you can actually email a receptionist. A receptionist gets paid virtually nothing. They don't really care about their company. They don't think about these things. They open up a link and say, oh, this is stupid spam. And they go out their way, even if they mark it as spam. Who gives a crap? You got their IP address from that receptionist. Now, you have to do a little bit of work to figure out what the target likes and dislikes is. So from the only way to do this is you need to dox the person. Basically, if it's a receptionist, then find out their name, and it's pretty easy to dox them. I think I got a couple things open up. So as far as this goes, to dox someone, it's pretty easy. In fact, I'm going to get a little bit in depth on this. To dox someone, all I have to do is go to, and there's some other sites they can go to, so you don't have to go to these. But all you have to do is go to a site like this, type in their possible username, and to figure out their username, if you figure out their Facebook, you can probably figure out their username, because usually their username is somewhere within the last little bit of Facebook. Or let's say, for example, if it's on some dating site or whatnot, you can take that username, and most likely they reuse that username over and over and over and you can figure out, what sites they like, and you can dox them to figure out their likes, dislikes, and whatnot. So that way, when you actually send them a link, you can send them a link to something that they like, and it almost guarantees that they actually will click on it, and it goes from there. But as far as things goes, all this stuff, these 3 sites, some are more powerful than others, but basically you just put in the person's name, actual name here. This works sometimes, like a third of the time. This kind of almost never works, but it does work at times, and when it does work, it does work. This works a lot of the time when I try to dox people to figure out some stuff about them. So, say for example, if I'm going to an interview, before I go on an interview, I might dox whoever's going to interview me, so I can, have a higher chance of getting a job or whatever. Given that I got that liberty of figuring out who is actually going to interview me, that's the key thing. But if I'm going after a target, most likely I know the receptionist's name, and I can figure out the username pretty quickly and go from there and figure out their likes and dislikes from Facebook and whatnot. And believe it or not, you can pretty much figure out all the way down if you know their name, their username, and their location by city. You can figure out their actual street address, their phone number, and social security, and age, and whatever. I mean, it's unbelievable on how easy it is to get some of this information. It's unbelievable how unsecure not only the government sites. I don't care if you're talking about the United States government or some European governments. It's easy to get this stuff, and it's unbelievably easy to get from social sites. Social sites do the best, but they're attacked on a daily basis, which makes it easy for penetration testers to get their information, or black hats. So as far as this goes, I'm going to use my website as an example, and all you have to do is go to create a URL, and this is just shortens it up, the reason why it's important to figure out their stuff is if you use your own website, there's no guarantee that they're going to actually click on it. And while you can actually gain more information by using your own website, believe it or not, I don't care if they're using some special whatever. I mean, unless they're using a VPN or a proxy, which I doubt, then you can figure out their IP address and even what they're using, like as far as operating system, browser, version of Flash, version of Java, so on and so on, even if your site doesn't use it. For this, basically, now that we created it, we want to copy and paste this into the email or whatever. And say, for example, if you were able to hack into a company's directory, and this doesn't mean that you hacked into their actual, it's not really hacking into their directory, it's just finding their directory. That's not really hacking. So you figure out who works there and who doesn't, and who works in what department. And if you figure out, just look around and figure out who's on vacation, you can actually make up a email address, put that person who's on vacation, their name on the email address, send something, photos of whatever. Usually they say, for example, if they're going on vacation to the Caribbean, they kind of say they are, and what you can do is just grab some pictures from Caribbeans online and throw it in some email or on PhotoBucket or whatnot. And you can use a link like this that's linking to those pictures on PhotoBucket or whatever it may be, Instagram or whatever. And that way the receptionist thinks it's that person in Caribbeans or whatever. Send them the pictures of their vacation, and the receptionist will take a look at it, and they might reply back or not. It doesn't matter at that point, because once they open it up and look at this link, we can see, and I'm not going to really try it. In fact, I might actually try this since I'm on a VPN right now. I'll be right back. Alright, so I clicked on it and went to the thing, and basically you just got to remember this one. Just email it to yourself. And this is what happens. You can see the date that they clicked on it, the time, whatever time, and the IP address and the map link. You can click that. Let's go back here while we'll wait. The actual version of Windows, somewhere in there, and the version of browser. I don't know what's up with some of this other stuff, but the host name and so on and so on. And I'm using a VPN, keep that in mind. So this is not where I'm at. It's saying I'm in New York, and this is the fastest server I'm going through. In fact, it's the fastest server I could find in the United States at this time, in this hour. So basically, it says I'm here, but because I'm using a VPN, it's kind of stuck. And if you go on some other sites, it'll actually give you a latitude and longitude and whatnot. In fact, right here, it gives you a latitude and longitude. Didn't see that? And you can look that up on Google Maps or whatever and see the actual area. Well, I just looked it up, and it's not the exact area. And keep that in mind, that's not going to show you the exact area of the area. But if you're hacking into their servers, all you need to know is their IP address, and you're good to go from there. And you can figure out their actual internet provider and whatnot from there. And in fact, that gets me into the third and final thing. The last thing is actually calling up their internet provider, figuring out their internet provider. And how you do that is you need to figure out their central location. So say, for example, if you're hacking into your client's stuff as a pen tester, well, you pretty much already know their location. And what you need to do is you need to go and, if you're hacking into that site, you already know their location. If you're hacking to another site, you need to figure out its location by street address. Just you can Google it or whatever. Depending on what company it is depending on how hard it is going to find. So I can't tell you exactly how to do that. But as far as that goes, once you figure out the location, you can figure out what IP services in that area. From there, you can figure out what services the IP services give. Usually one has a pretty good service and one has a horrible service. So what you need to do is assume that are with the good service. Then what you need to do is go and depending on the location of the actual site, if it's in like a downtown metropolitan area, you need to go to a busy area, preferably an area with public telephones if they have one in their area. If not, then just try to use a untrackable phone, which is, I'm not going to show you how to make that in this video, but basically use an untrackable phone, go into like a metropolitan area or wherever that has a lot of cars. And if it's not a metropolitan area, obviously do the opposite of that, and call up the internet provider. Say that you're working on the job and someone screwed up and you're rushing to the job right now, and they need the IP address and the DNS and yada yada yada. And the 9 times out of 10, they'll actually just give it. They'll probably ask for the company's name, and that's pretty much about it. And they'll just give it. That's social engineering. It's sad, but that's the security. That pretty much, and that's just not the United States. That's Europe. I've seen that in Germany, Russia, Japan. I've seen that a lot of places. A lot of pen testers around the world. So it's a common thing. So unfortunately, that's a sad thing. But that makes it easier on us. So basically, you can do that, and you can get into systems through their IP. So, anyways, that's how to figure out someone's IP address through Facebook or some chat or company site or whatnot, or some email. And if this video has helped you, or if you liked it or whatnot, then please like, please subscribe, and please share. And if you got any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. I'll try to help you out as best as possible. And if you want to add anything, please feel free. And I probably left a couple things out, and obviously there's more ways to track someone down. So if you know of any other way without, spamming something, just leave something down and let people know, and go for that. But anyways, it's been Craig Bennett, the founder and owner of TechFuse Up. And again, please like, please subscribe, and please share. And I hope you have a great day.